Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock. Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We made it to episode 2. Yay! Of Wrestling Art with Chris Things. I am Chris Things, your host this week and every week. This is our Match of the Week edition. Very excited about that. We're talking the match that I selected to be the Chris Things Match of the Week. Just the one that I picked and I did an art of, and so we're going to talk about that match. We're going to talk about the art. So it's about time that I welcome to the show. Now, previous listeners of years gone by to the Grown Men Watch This Shit podcast may remember this man, but welcome back to the show, Cousin Ben.
Thank you very much, Christopher. Thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Oh, good, yeah, on the all-new Wrestling Art podcast. So, I mean, it's probably not going to be that much different, really.
I'm sure it'll be as entertaining as our previous podcasts.
Oh, for sure. Perhaps even a little bit more professional. Oh, no, what am I saying? No.
Yeah, some things will never happen.
No. So, for our listeners, Ben, the main reason that I thought it would be worthwhile having Ben back for this week to talk about this match. This match is from All Japan Pro Wrestling. And very sadly, Ben, I think you are the only person that I know that actually keeps up with current All Japan Pro Wrestling. That's really sad because their current product is fantastic.
No, the current product is actually definitely fantastic. It is definitely right down my alley. I probably don't get to see as much of it as I would like, but what I do see is fucking amazing.
So that's something I wanted to quickly touch on. So for our listeners, Ben is, I mean, not a new dad. You've been a dad for a few years now, but you're a dad who manages that balance of being a father and also watching, I would say, a very good amount of Japanese wrestling. How do you do it?
I've had to make compromises on what I believe the match is going to be. So if it's not going to be a high-end 4 to 5 star match, I will make do with watching it on my phone on my way to work or during my lunch breaks at work.
Mm.
But if I have a feeling it's like it's going to be a banger, like a Keno Nakajima match, or what was the recent one with Nakajima in All Japan against
Oyaji for the big Triple Crown.
Yeah, so a match like that, I'd watch at home, try and link it up to the TV, but I'd normally have to either watch it before 6 o'clock in the morning,
mm-hmm.
or watch it after 8 o'clock at night when Aurora goes to sleep.
Right. Now, is there a danger that when you watch it after 8 o'clock, you're potentially going to fall asleep as well?
That is 100% a possibility. And especially, it's a little bit harder with the Japanese wrestling, because the one thing, at least with the commentary, it's easier to sort of stay alert of sorts. Unless the match is an absolute banger that just goes a million miles an hour, there is a real possibility that I will fall asleep. Like, even recently I was watching the main event of AEW, the from Collision, the Sting 6-man with Adam Copeland, Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there to sleep about 3 times in a 20-minute match.
Oh, no.
And that was during the middle of the day.
Right. It is a real struggle. I mean, to me, especially for a match that you know is going to be good, one that's a real, let's say a proper like 30, 40-minute main event like we get oftentimes with a big Japanese show. The worst thing is when you really get into it and then halfway through you fall asleep. And it's like a disservice to the match because it can be a great match. Sometimes you're just tired. Oh, the hassles of being a Japanese wrestling fan, man.
Oh, 100%. And the other one is you have to actually give yourself that window where it's like, because you don't want to get interrupted when you're watching that 40-minute match because it just doesn't have that same feel. If you have to pause it, you have to stop it, or you actually have to re-watch it. I feel it just loses something on that second time you watch it.
That's what I do for my rule. Like if I somehow get interrupted or, God forbid, fall asleep, I'll have to go back from the start every time. There's no way that you can, just jump back in and assume it's going to have the same flow.
No, it just doesn't work. I've tried it many times, but if it's just a friggin' run-of-the-mill match, 9 times out of 10, I ain't going back anymore because I just don't have the luxury. It's just, it wasn't entertaining enough to keep me awake. I've got to move on.
That is fair enough. I mean, you do keep up with a fair bit of stuff. I mean, from my knowledge of it, you're generally keeping up with the current product of AEW, New Japan, Noah, and a bit of All Japan as well, as much as you can watch. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Is there any more?
Just besides for the odd CMLL match you tell me about to watch, to check out. That's probably it at the moment.
Well, I'd commend you because that is a tremendous amount of stuff to watch, especially with a young child and wife who does not care for the wrestling.
Yeah, not in the slightest. She has no inkling to want to watch it ever.
That's okay. We don't have to, share all of these, passions with our partner. It's good to have our own things to do.
100%. And I respect her for it. For at least she holds firm. It's like, nope. Okay. As long as you bag me out to anyone, I'm willing to let this go.
That's fair enough. Yeah. All right, so jumping into our match. So the match of the week in question is a match that I enjoyed greatly, as you'd assume since I picked it. But a match from All Japan Pro Wrestling's show from the 17th of June of this year, from their Dynamite Series 2023 Day 3 New Age MANIAx show from Ota Ward Gymnasium, featuring the big old chunky boys that are Strong BJ, Daisuke Sekimoto and Yuji Okabayashi, against the violence giants of Shuji Ishikawa and Suwama. And these guys have had a series of tremendous matches over the years, and my gosh, this was just a celebration of big beefy men slapping beef. I loved it.
As soon as I saw it, it's like, yeah, this is right down your alley.
Yeah.
Four big boys going at it, and not just gently going at it, just really the open palm shots, the big clotheslines, the big suplexes. It was just fun to watch.
It was everything that you could ask for and more. Like, sometimes when I watch wrestling, I just want to watch some big motherfuckers beat the shit out of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see spots. I don't want to see overly choreographed gymnast routines. I just want to see some big boys fuck each other up. And that's what this was. Oh,
they definitely did. It started off from the big battle twins, Shuji and Okabayashi, between the forearms of Shuji to the chops of Okabayashi. It was like, yeah, this is right down my alley. I ain't going to see this on the American TV shows. It's just, you just appreciate it.
It's probably the perfect contrast to like your mainstream American TV product, really. Like, you watch that, then you watch this, and it's just like, whoa, this is different in just the best way. Before we get any much further, I should note that so this match did hold some special significance that I think is important to know as you go into the match. That being that this is a big anniversary match for Shuji Ishikawa. So I think maybe his 20th year anniversary. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but
it was 20th. Well, that's what at least it said on the match title.
Good.
Anniversary.
Good. I'll give myself a little pat on the back for that one.
Nice
but
work.
so both the Shuji's anniversary match and then also special prominence because Yuji Okabayashi, the big old bald golem of Big Japan wrestling, he actually is taking a bit of a hiatus from wrestling. So, you know, I don't know if it's going to be a retirement, fingers crossed not, but he's just hanging it up for a bit and seeing if he comes back later, I guess. So this is one of his last matches that he had on this sort of goodbye run, his last one for All Japan, as it would be.
How old actually is he? Is he mid to late 40s?
I have the power to find out. If I'm just guessing before I Google it, I'm going to say he's like 39. Oh, 41. 41.
That's a good guess. He'd actually be the youngest in the ring then, wouldn't he? Because...
yeah, perhaps. I mean...
Because Sekimoto has to be older than 41.
Oh, wow. I was just surprised. Suwama is 46 years old. I would not have called that.
I didn't know that one from recently seeing it. I think maybe on a Noah show where they had his age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Noah have that thing where they have that age, weight, and that weird bar thing that's like special and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I swear, when he's with his Keno thing, I swear there was a match that showed me his age recently.
It's a handy graphic to have. Shuji Ishikawa is actually 48. So looking damn good for his age, I would say. And Daisuke is also 42. So, yeah.
Close. But yeah, the youngest.
But yeah, I loved everything about this match. But I mean, in saying that, so there was like a special magic in the air, I would say, a special love for Yuji Okabayashi. I mean, also a thing that's notable, this is an All Japan show. Daisuke Sekimoto and Yuji Okabayashi are Big Japan boys. So in a way, they're like the outsiders, but they've also had like a shit ton of history with All Japan over the years, with their run with the All Asia tag titles back in the day, their rad series of matches that they had against SMOP, that being the big old sumo tag team of Akebono and Ryota Hama. Amazing matches there. Everyone, I'd totally recommend go out of your way and check out one of those.
No, I didn't realise that. I knew they went back. I didn't realise they went that far back.
Yeah.
But it made sense. They always deliver whenever they're in the ring, those two together. They just look amazing.
For sure. But yeah, it's like quite interesting, them being the outsiders, but there just been so much love in the building for Yuji Okabayashi.
Well, you could definitely tell. No, the crowd will love this match.
Oh, man. It built so well. Like, just those big old clubbing blows, like you're saying, the chops, the bloody lariats. I'm such a fan of Suwama's big boy lariat and those double chops.
Oh, that was a beast, that friggin' the lariat he did in I think it was it was a pivotal part in the match where I feel it sort of was well-paced, and then he had the big lariat, and then it sort of just escalated it.
Yeah,
and it just went that next level, and then it just went that the finishing stretch, or that last half, it just went to another level, and it was really impressive. Like all the parts I sort of enjoyed, like the simple things, like in the first half, it's like where Sekimoto and Okabayashi were just doing the tag, and it's at a Samoan drop, they just pick them up, bang them back down. then tagged out, and just did that 3 or 4 times. I thought it was quite funny to watch.
Oh yeah, my favourite part I think of this match, and this has sort of gone back to their previous one of the tag team signature spots of Strong BJ, of where they got both these massive fuckers up in the double torture rack. So great.
Yeah. I was very impressed with myself. I was like, fuck me, that is a true show of strength. Those are 2 big boys you're putting up on your shoulders and friggin' just yanking them.
I mean, they didn't have them up there for that long, but still, impressive.
100%. Look, you'd think there'd be at least, I'd say at least 100, 110 kgs they're carrying on your shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, well, Suwama's a little bit small, but he's also quite tall, deceivingly tall.
Both Suwama and Ishikawa, I mean, they are the violence giants. Let's not forget that. But these guys, they're not in any way like slim dudes. They're big chunky dudes, but they're just really tall motherfuckers. So the visual of when Okabayashi and Sekimoto had them up on their shoulders, I mean, both Sekimoto and Okabayashi are like massive, like power lifter frame dudes, but they're not the tallest dudes in the world. I think like probably both under 6 feet. So having these like massive dudes on their shoulders, that just such a like. Just the size difference was amazing to see.
It was impressive. It's like you just don't see big boys being lifted and treated like that in many matches these days.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, part of it is also like when we start to see like older kind of wrestlers, like you see the power spots are sort of like some of the harder things that they don't do as much. And I was very interested in this because obviously these guys are getting a bit older, as we have said. So I even saw, after I watched the match and bloody loved it, was reading some of the reviews on Cage Match to get a bit of an idea of other people's sort of perception of it. And I was super interested. One person sort of was like saying how they were a bit bummed out because it was like they weren't moving as fast as they were in the past. They weren't like having the same like dynamism, the same sort of like, I guess what you got from them in their younger days. But I completely disagree. I thought this was like fucking rad and they killed it, but maybe there were some bits where it looked like a bit more of a struggle. Like they still did the things, but it looked a bit more of a struggle. If anything, I thought it added to it.
Like Shuji did the flying knee off the ropes.
Yeah.
The guys, and it looked fucking amazing. The guy's like, 48, I think we just said, and it's like, that was just perfection. It's like, but I actually enjoy it when things aren't always perfect. When you know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it adds
that bit more out of them. Not some flippy guy who can do fucking 3 cartwheels and then a fucking 450 flip, and that is insane. You appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest. One of the biggest things is missing from wrestling these days is you don't see the struggle as much. And almost like sometimes when people are looking at a match and they see guys struggling a bit, or like it's not coming together as easy, they talk it down. They'll be like, they clearly were getting tired or whatever, and they'll like, make out that the match sucked as a result. Whereas I think like seeing that struggle like makes it. Like a match that I remember as a good example of this that I loved, that I think pretty much everyone in the modern wrestling world just like fucking buried, was that Undertaker Goldberg match. Now obviously in this match not everything went right and we had some like fuck ups and dudes almost die, but I thought the match was better because of it. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take your word for it. I do agree when something isn't easy, it builds the story and the importance of when it actually finally comes. It just means that much more.
I mean, I will take a jackhammer Northern Lights driver and fucking Undertaker looking like he dropped a motherfucker like right on his head. Way more than a clean, like pristine, everything went perfect kind of match.
I'm with you.
But anyway, it's a bit of a sidetrack.
I'd have, and it's actually one match I can't say I've ever seen, since my WWE knowledge is limited to really the WrestleMania we went to in New Orleans.
I mean, that's probably for the best, but I'm not saying go out of your way to see this match. I'm probably looking at it a little bit with rose-colored glasses, but I just remember like sort of the early 2000s tape trader in me that would like go out of my way to just see fucked up shit in wrestling. Like, I loved it from that perspective. I don't know if anyone else will have that perspective, but anyway, back to our main match.
as long as you enjoyed it, that's the main thing, Chris.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, like struggle, I think if anything makes matches better. So that's the gist of the point there. But I mean, getting back to this one, so I just mentioned the double torture rack was obviously like my favorite bit. It was enough for me to choose that to be the actual illustrated part of the match of the week. It was a bit of a tough choice, but that was the one I thought was the coolest visual. What did you think? Were there any other moments in the match that you thought were like, oh, that would have been a sick visual, or any other ones you thought would have worked better perhaps?
I don't know about better, but I'm always a sucker for an open palm shot. And the exchange between Shuji and Okabayashi.
Oh, man. I actually had some screenshots that I took of that. There's an amazing one where Okabayashi gives Shuji this big one, and he's just like, his face is just like, you can see the birds flying over his head. Just the slobber was like flying out of his mouth. It's so good. That was the other one I was like close on.
Yeah, so I think that would have been the torture axe or the open palms. So I'm a sucker for a good strike. Mm-hmm. And then like the other things I enjoyed were like because Suwama just has the perfect belly to belly, and that Saito suplex he did where he pretty much put the guy on the top of his shoulders. It's like the arch and the speed and the power he gets at his age is they're just perfection. Yeah. And what else did I? Well, I also like the finish with the Okabayashi getting the win with getting the 2 count off a huge clothesline, and then that huge splash after he'd already tried it previous in the match and landed on Suji's fucking knees. It's like, that's not something I'd want to be taking. That being Suji on the ground, it's like putting your knees up and having 120 kg jumping off the top rope on me. It's like, I don't know how that'd feel on my legs. I feel like I'd be breaking my bones.
I mean, that's the good thing about us watching the wrestling, and like, there's a lot of like safety police out there that are like watching out for shit. They're like, oh, that was dangerous, this guy's dangerous work, or blah blah blah. Fuck off. As like a wrestling fan, I just want to watch, like I said, I want to watch dudes fuck each other up, and like the more it looks like they're actually fucking one another up, the better the match is to me. So I thought that was fantastic.
100%. Like, I don't see...
And I mean, just the visual of such a big dude, like, coming off the top. That's just timeless,
Oh, 100%. It's like, he definitely went all out in his swan song in All Japan.
Yeah, and I want to make mention, you mentioned that Okabayashi got the big win in this. I was so stoked and happy that is the way that it went, because I wasn't predicting that. Because, like, normal booking-wise, we've got 2 outsiders from a whole another different promotion against the hometown boys of the Violence Giants, one of which it's his anniversary match, and on top of that, one of the outsiders, Okabayashi, is potentially finishing up. He's not going to be around anymore, He's not going to, may not be back, who knows? Yeah. So the idea that they...
Not anytime soon.
Who knows if he's going to be returning the favor or whatever. But that was what mattered. Like, what was the coolest thing was like they gave Okabayashi that special moment, and I think that was definitely the right call. The crowd fucking loved it. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I was just surprised and delighted by it.
Suwama still is the booker, isn't he?
I don't know. I thought it was Shuji Ishikawa from what I heard. I mean, I don't really know any of this stuff for sure. Japanese wrestling's kind of like weird like that. I know, Akiyama used to have the book back in the day. But yeah, I mean, all I'm going off of is what Uncle Dave writes in the Observer.
Oh, mate. Well, that thing makes it more impressive. Him giving Okabayashi the win on his 20th anniversary, so it means even all the more how much he is held by Shuji.
Yeah, a very selfless move in a business that often is not very selfless.
Ain't that the truth? more so in North American wrestling than Japanese, I feel.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the magic about Japanese wrestling is we just don't actually really know all that much what's going on backstage, so it has a little bit more of a mystery, you know?
Well, I prefer not knowing too much, because when you start to know too much, you start to read into things a bit more than you really should, and it just takes away something from it. I think
it's good to have a nice little bit of mystery, I reckon. So do you have any other thoughts on the match itself? Just
purely 4 big boys and having a true test of strength battle throughout the match. It was one of my favourite kind of matches to watch.
I think all in all, it was just a spectacular display of big, chunky men fucking each other up in the best of ways. Would recommend. Sign up to the All Japan Pro Wrestling streaming service, everybody. It's an excellent value and a great timing where you get to see Katsuhiko Nakajima's rad run at the top of All Japan. Who knows how long that's going to last, but I'm enjoying every moment.
Well, hopefully it's a nice long run, or at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I do feel if he leaves Japan, it isn't for the best when it comes to his wrestling. Financially, it might be more beneficial, but I don't feel he'll be appreciated as much outside of Japan with the way he wrestles.
Yeah, I mean, as a long-time Nakajima fan, I would be very sad for him to go the way of an Akira Tozawa, for example.
And be a comedy act in WWE for how many years now?
Oh gosh, yeah. God forbid that happens. Let's not even talk about these possibilities.
Well, speaking of Nakajima, my mug came today from the Nakajima Kano match of the week.
Oh shit! So the Chris Things mug, that was my first ever art mug that I did. I thought, hey, what better than to slap a picture of Nakajima kicking the shit out of Keno on a mug? You know, who actually in the world would want this? And then you came out, you're like, fucks everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Mum gave me the call at work today saying, Ben, did you get a package delivered to my house? It's like, yes, Mum, I forgot to tell you, sorry.
How'd it come out?
I actually haven't seen it yet because I just remembered as I was speaking to you that I haven't seen Mum, so I think she'll probably drop in on this weekend to watch Aurora someday, so she'll bring it over then. But get her to send me a picture and I'll send it to you.
Cool. Yeah, please do. I can't wait to see how it came out. But another mate that got one told me he thought it came out pretty good. So
nice.
Chopped about that. We've got our next mug that I've since released with last week's match of the week with Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik against the Funks. Again, I'll be just so tickled if someone is like, fuck yeah, I need to show off Terry Funk being stabbed in the arm by Abdullah the Butcher in the fucking lunchroom. I think that'd be great.
You tempted not to get that one yourself?
Oh,
and give it to your mum as a Christmas present?
Oh, maybe. maybe. I am having to get a few. I've got Expo coming up. This Oddities and Obscurities Expo up here in Brisbane at the Convention Centre in early December. So I'll have to have a bit of a swag of stuff on hand. So I'm going to have a few mugs for sale. So we'll see how they go with the general public.
Are you just going to keep them as the match of the weeks, or are you going to just do some of your different artworks as well?
I think at this stage I'm keeping the mugs as like the match of the week kind of thing. At the same time, like if anyone sort of expresses an interest on any of the other stuff on there, that could be a thing as well. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I am looking at other ways we can sort of do this art stuff. So prints, or whether maybe do shirt skis or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of this match of the week, I remember last time talking about how I kind of struggled with the colours for the Abby and Terry one. This one sort of like came together a lot easier, if that makes sense. I sort of like, obviously I have kind of my general colour schemes that are kind of stay with or sort of tweak a little bit. I don't ever want it to be like the exact same everyone, but I want it to be sort of like recognizable, you know what I mean?
To link to some point besides just the subject. It's just like a series of sorts. Yeah,
for sure. Sometimes I'll play with, I really like, changing the colours of the skin of wrestlers, a lot of the time. It's like it needs something a little bit, and I think, something odd about, these neon green coloured wrestlers on the shoulders of these big chunky dudes. I thought that was a cool kind of visual.
100%. No, I was very impressed with the way it came out.
Well, thanks. Yeah, no, appreciate it.
Cool.
So that one is up for anyone who wants to get a print ski. If you're a big strong BJ or Violence Giants fan out there, please do. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the next match of the week is going to be. It's coming out soon.
So when does
tomorrow, I believe.
Is it a current match, or in the last 6 months or so, or?
It is.
Or is it
from, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'll say it is inspired. It's inspired by a current happening in wrestling of something that is pretty bloody awesome that I'm really excited about, and perhaps it's a throwback inspired by that current happening. If I can be as cryptic as possible.
Well, it's definitely not in AEW then.
No. maybe it's a little bit more independent wrestling focused, if that's a little bit of a hint.
Ooh.
I haven't done any like indie stuff yet.
No, you have been pretty much. What you got? Noah. You've had All Japan. You've had. What, Abdullah and Funk, that was All Japan from the 80s, was it, or was it?
70s, yeah.
70s.
And then there was a bit of AEW representation with the Danielson Zack Sabre Jr. match.
Oh, yes. That was one hell of a match.
Yeah.
I am
tremendous.
actually tempted to rewatch that one again.
Oh, I reckon I watched it twice, and it definitely just gets better, like, the more that you watch it, and there's more little things that you notice are so good.
That is a kind of match where you really need to, I reckon, sometimes watch it for that second time to pick up those extra things that you missed that first time. It's because it's not all flashy stuff. It's like little moves of the body and why he's chosen to go a certain way, why he's doing this, and it just plays better that second time, and it's like you'll appreciate it even more than you did that first time, and it was fucking amazing the first time I watched it.
Yeah, so great. We've had a pretty darn good year of great matches so far.
It definitely has been impressive across the board for the most part. There's been so many high-end matches in most promotions, which is which is great to see, and it makes watching multiple ones easier. Although I'm a bit more brutal these days, especially when it comes to New Japan. It's like very selective in what I choose to watch. Cause it's like you can waste so much time. Like there are some multi-mans. They do multi-mans a lot better than in North American promotions, but they do so fucking many of them. Nobody has that much time to watch all those fucking on a 10-match card. It's like, yeah, give myself 2 matches, maybe 3, unless it's a special show, and that's about it, and move on.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sensible.
That Lone Star one, it's like the Mayu Itani, the Stephanie Vader, I think it's the same name. That was a cracker. The ZSJ versus Bailey match was a cracker.
I really want to watch that one specifically.
One more on it, and it's
wasn't there a Eddie Kingston match that looks pretty great as well on that card? Or am I confusing that with the previous show?
It might be, because I swear that one was like just Trent Beretta or something.
Right, yeah, I think I'm confusing it with on maybe the Vegas show he worked Hanare, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or I'm just completely pulling this out of my ass. I don't know. I don't keep up with New Japan as closely as I used to. It's been years since I've watched a New Japan multi-man, just so you know.
I'd be...
It's just too hard to keep up with so much wrestling.
Yeah. Mine be before COVID, so at least, 2020, 2019.
Right.
And that's when I realised there is no need. Actually, no, it started first with the G1s, when they had just the 5 matches and they had the 5 multi-mans beforehand. It's like, what person has enough time to watch, let alone 20 shows?
I know.
But to then watch friggin' an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes of multi-mans, it's like, no. Oh, actually, and that is the one benefit of the New Japan app now. It actually breaks it down, and all the matches are separate, so it's like Wrestle Universe. It's like you just go straight in, you select it, and you say, thank you very much.
Ooh, handy. Yeah, I haven't watched anything off the New Japan app yet, but you're saying it's a bit better?
Yeah. Oh, actually, you were right. It's Kingston versus Kojima. So, yes, it's definitely worth watching.
Okay, nice. Make sure to check that one out, too.
It was Shingo versus Trent Beretta. Like, Shingo's a cracker, but I don't know if I can probably get around to watching that, since it's... Trent in a tag, I'm always down for. But not necessarily as a singles man.
I do remember him having some matches in AEW back in the day, like getting some singles where he just looked real good. But I mean, I couldn't name them off the top of my head.
Like he never looks bad, but it never stands out to the match where it's like, okay, I need to watch this again.
Right.
So it's like he does good matches, I feel. I just don't know if they necessarily ever get to that great level as a singles guy.
Right.
It was TJB versus Mystico was the other one I watched.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds great. TJP was always real good in his CMLL visits.
That's what I'd heard too from I think you and maybe even Dave recently talking him up. So I thought, and Mystico from the match I saw him with Rocky, he always looks good, and Dave was raving about his match he had recently too. Could have been against Templaro.
Ooh, well, I mean, as I've said, CMLL is on a bloody incredible run right now. I would say Easy should be Promotion of the Year award winner for this year. And that makes me think, man, maybe for some of these matches of the week, I need to give some more Mexican wrestling love, some Arena Mexico representation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm with it. I reckon it'll be definitely a few crackers and a few different kind of I don't know what you call it. Different kind of.
We definitely get some variety in there.
Not just your blood and guts or your brutal strikes.
That's my favorite thing about watching CMLL. It's like just so the polar opposite of all of the other wrestling that I watch. So it's just always a breath of fresh air.
It is definitely a nice mix up with the 2 out of 3 falls. Just that different style. It's just gives you that break, so you almost feel like you're watching something different. You're not just watching that same old type format type thing. When you can get in a bit of a rut.
Yeah, it's got like a different tempo to it.
Yeah. And it's like most matches are at most 15, 20 minutes, million miles an hour, nice mix up, but it's actually done properly.
Yeah.
Like this, as most things, some look set up, but it's like most of it's done so crisp that you don't really care.
Yeah, and I'm always in awe of those big, the rudos, you know, especially like the older rudos that have just been around forever, like your Ultimo Guerreros, Averno, Hechicero, even like in the Templario. I don't know how old he is, but he's like just such a boss, like perfect base for like the Technicos. So yeah, I just have so much respect for those dudes.
They just bring the Technicos to another level, especially when they're as good as those guys are.
Yeah.
That reminded me, the spot that Cash Wheeler did with El Hijo del Vikingo, that crazy spot he does where he does that 450 into the Poison Rider. And for a guy who doesn't do too much lucha, Cash Wheeler and him fucking pulled that off to perfection.
Ooh, that sounds good. I've always been a big fan of Cash Wheeler. Yeah,
it was the Rampage main event. It was FTRV, Commander, and I believe it was Commander and El. What's his? How do you say it again? El.
I am not sure.
Fast, it was Vikingo.
Fair enough. Well, we've had quite a journey from starting out with the match of the week in All Japan, making all our way over to CMLL, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I want to.
We just go where it comes.
It's just a wandering journey of a podcast. What's wrong with that?
Go with the flow. See where you go. And see where you end up. Never disappointing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to thank you very much for doing the show, Ben, for talking our second match of the week. Definitely love to have you back next time, talking some Japanese wrestling, perhaps. For our, do you have anything you'd like to plug for our listeners, Ben?
No, I'm good. I'm just a construction surveyor these days, Christopher. Nothing I need to plug, except I'm a dad and husband.
Oh, that's nice. You plugging your fatherhood.
Yep. Trying to do that well.
Nice. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks again for doing the show. I also want to thank our listeners for their time. I do have a couple plugsies. If you would like a print, original artwork, mugs, t-shirt, whatever, jump on christhings.com.au. That's where you can find a whole gaggle of rad stuff. Check me out on Instagram, Chris Things, Twitter, Chris Things. That's where we have all of the updates of the show as well. So you'll be able to keep abreast of all of the new episodes and developments. But thank you so much for listening. I also like to big old thank you to the team at Social Suplex for allowing us to do this show, for keeping the lights on. Thanks, Social Suplex. You can check out socialsuplex.com. It has a variety of other rad wrestling podcasts on there. They've got the New Japan podcast, Keeping It Strong Style. They've got One Nation Radio. They've got All Things Elite, a whole variety of stuff. So check them out. Thank you, Social Suplex. Thank you again to you, the listener, and I will see you in the near future for our first ever Wrestling Art Curator episode with none other than Sam Evans. I'm very excited about that. So keep your ears out for that one. But thanks again, guys. Bye.